Each day this week, we're going to be looking at a portion of our Torah portion, Bahar Hugotai. Today, we look at the very beginning, chapter 25, verses 1 through 18. And Anshel and I were caught by a question. Our portion begins with the idea of Shmita, letting the land lie fallow every 7 years in a 7 times repeating cycle. So once every 7 years over a 50-year cycle or 49-year cycle, we have to let the land lie fallow. And we were struck by the question, why does the Torah give us this instruction when we have Shabbat every 7th day to teach us what seems to be the same lesson?
I think it's a good question, and as I think of it, it strikes me that the Torah wants us to regard the land as it were a living thing. Just like we have to have our animals rest on the 7th day, the concept of the land having a sense of rest as well becomes important, because it is not just an inanimate object, but rather it is a living element. And as a result, we have to treat it with a certain level of respect and sanctity, because this has been given to us to care for, and if we don't do it right, then we will destroy the land. So we need to be able to have a sense of kedusha for the land. And we know that is important because the whole idea of the land being living, the Torah refers to the whole idea of when you have the story of Cain and Abel, when God says, the blood of your brother is crying out to me from the land. What does it mean it's crying out? It means the land is really a living thing.
A living character in our story with God.
Right.
Absolutely. And we were also struck by how towards the end of this instruction, the Torah tells us, Lo tonu et ish et amito v'aretem Elohecha, that each person shall not afflict, punish, or treat badly their fellow neighbor, and that you shall have awe or fear of God. And we are interpreting that in this section to mean that as you prepare yourself for this 7th year, as the people would, they would build bigger storehouses in the 6th year to have supplies for the 7th year. And as they are facing that 7th year of not tilling the soil and not planting, but of just living off of what is already there, that they have in mind not just their family's survival, not just their cousins and their clan that might live around them, but all the people, even the stranger in their midst. And the instruction to have awe or fear of God tells us it's as we face this struggle, it's time to think about how we can become higher beings, how we can rise towards our more spiritually pure selves and become better, and to become better people. And that therefore, not just to become better people, but to become a better people, right? To rise collectively as well, not just as individuals. Clearly, we think that this is a message to think about for this time of pandemic, and we encourage you to check out chapter 25, verses 1 through 18, the very beginning of this parsha, and to think about how the lessons of the Shmita might apply to this time that we're facing as well.